So this is the second part of the training where we're going to show how things happen between Sage 300 and Basis. So everything can happen in Sage 300, but there is two more places where we can actually see things happening. So I'm just going to illustrate that, then I'll give you the access, and at some point it would be good if you got familiar with it, but it's not essential. So the first thing is, when an order gets created in Sage, as I did an example here, automatically the order gets sent to our portal. So that's what we set up yesterday, where automatically all the orders will actually go in. So you can now see this order in our portal in blue. And somebody can look at it if needed, but if it's not really necessary to do so. So this is the iPhone. This is from the first video. Basically, when we log in, we're going to go into purchase order. And all we need to do is we need to know the purchase order that we're going to be receiving. So if I put this purchase order number here, as soon as I put in the purchase number in the device, it actually pulls it from here. So this was sent automatically here, and then it just gets pulled onto the device. So when I go onto the device, I can see that this is the item that I need, and I need to receive 100. So when I put my quantity, if I don't receive the full quantity, it goes yellow. And when I receive the full quantity, so I've just received 99, now I'm receiving another additional one, it actually goes green to signify that now this PO has been received. So the last thing, and that was part of the first video, but I'm just illustrating it here because I'm doing the whole thing. The last thing is just to send this order to the cloud from the device. When the order gets sent, it actually changes color here. So before it even hits Sage, there is a way to know that this order was actually sent from here. And here we can also view the details and view the transaction. So we can see exactly what was received on that PO if we want to. So this is a transaction. I received 99 and then I received 1. So this is very useful if somebody doesn't have access to Sage and just wants to see if the POs have been received before we even import them into Sage. So after the order has been received and it gets sent to the cloud, on Sage there is a process to import on the desktop, on your environment, there is a process to import the information automatically. So what I can do now is I can go to Basis, and there is a button here for the POs. There is one for the order and one for the inventory, but because we did a PO, I'm just going to review the PO. So I go to Basis, PO processing, and then here what I want to do is import the purchase orders. Before I do that, I just want to point out that at the same time as we can see it on the cloud, there is also a desktop application for which I will also give you access. And if I went to the desktop application, here as well I can click on purchase order and I can see the purchase order, and it'll actually go green to show me that it was received. And here as well I have the ability to see it. So it's not necessary to do it from there, but this application has a lot of features and reports that we might want to use. So regardless if we use this or not, the only thing we need to do is in Sage we need to go to Basis, PO processing, import purchase order. So once I hit update completed purchase order from that module, what it does, it'll actually go through, grabs whatever scans were done from the remote office, and it's going to create a receipt. So that's what it's doing right now. It's processing that PO. And when it completes it, it's going to open a report, which printed on my printer here, and it's going to just give you an update message to tell you that the PO was updated. And all you have to do here, if you have an issue, there is a log and everything, you just click OK, and then that process is completed. So that PO has been received. Now it created a shipment entry, and the shipment number is on the report that gets printed out. So that's on the PO side. For the order side, it's exactly the same thing. Basically, the orders get exported automatically. Once they get exported automatically, you can go onto the device, and exactly the same way as I received the order, or the one that I illustrated yesterday, gets processed from the scanner. I'm not going to do that because the process is exactly the same, and that was illustrated on the video yesterday, on the previous video. But from Sage, what you do is once the order has been completed, you just go to order processing, go to Basis, order processing, import order. Same before, we were doing Basis, PO processing, import PO. Now we just go to import order. And exactly the same, before I do that, if I wanted to, I can go back to my desktop version, and here if I go to orders, I can see the order that was just picked. It's going to turn green. It's going to show me the items that were shipped and so on. So same process. Again, we don't really have to go here. All we have to do is just click an update completed order, and that'll create a shipment, and we'll have a report coming out showing us the shipment number. So that's for this part here, for the sales orders and for the POs. Now I'm going to go into the production. So for the production, what we actually did for you is we allow you to create builds. And again, I illustrated how to do the builds, but I'm going to do it again here. And then from the inventory module of Basis, we have the ability to import builds. So right now, if I click on here, I don't see anything. So let me just go onto my scanner again. So from my scanner, I'm going to do a build. So again, that was illustrated in the previous video, but I'm going to do it here in live mode all the way through. So to do a build, I go to orders and create a new production order, and I give it a friendly name. So it's a June 9 2017-1. Again, this is just a convention that I create, but you can do whatever you want. When I click OK, now I need to put in the item that I'm going to process. I'm trying with this item here, 634201. Now this item has multiple units of measure, so I need to specify which unit of measure I'm picking. And then here, whatever the quantity that I'm building, and hit accept. If I had another item, I can continue on. As I mentioned yesterday, if you tap on here, it removes the keyboard, so I can see that I've received 5. If I make a mistake, I just swipe over to delete it. But let's say that this is good. The last thing I want to do is I want to send this. So now that it's sent, it will show up on my report here. So I've exported the item. So now if I go back to assembly, now I see the quantity 5 of the item that I just created. The only thing I don't see is the bill of lading, the bill of material number. If you have more than one, if you only had one, we would pick it. But here, you need to specify which ones you want to use. Not sure if you can do it from here. Yeah. So this is where you would pick the bill of material number, and then you would just say import. Again, just to mention, because there's always two facets to everything we do. If I wanted to see this before it gets imported here, I can always go back to the desktop version of Basis, click on production, and I can see my item, I can see the quantity, and from here I can print reports by date range and things like that. But for now, let's say all we want to do is import it. All I have to do is just go here and then click on import, and it'll create the assembly, give me the assembly number, and it actually posts it. And then it clears that screen here, so it's no longer the next time you'll be able to import. So that's it. That basically covered how to do a PO. We briefly talked about a sales order, but it's similar than the PO. And then on the inventory side, this is when we're going to do the assembly import. There's many more things you can do with Basis, like you can do physical count and everything else, but initially the mandate was to do those 3 things. So let's start with that, let's play with it and see where we go from there.